ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अष्टादशोऽध्यायः मोक्षसंन्यासयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदेभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः ब्राह्मणक्षत्रियविशां शूद्राणां च परन्तप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः शमोदमस्तपः शौचं क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानमास्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजं शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दाक्ष्यं युद्धे चाप्यपलायनं दानमीश्वरभावस्य क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजं कृषि गौरक्ष्यवाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजं परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजं स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तच्छृणु यतः प्रवृत्तिर्भूतानां येन सर्वमिदं ततं स्वकर्मणा तमभ्यर्च्य सिद्धिं विन्दति मानवः श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मोत्स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वभावनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम् सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय सदोषमपि न त्यजेत् सर्वारम्भा हि दोषेण धूमेनाग्निरिवावृताः असक्तबुद्धि सर्वत्र जितात्मा विगतस्पृहः नैष्कर्म्यसिद्धिं परमां सन्न्यासेनाधिगच्छति सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्म तथाप्नोति निबोध मे समासेनैव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या परा बुद्ध्या विशुद्धया युक्तो धृत्यात्मानं नियम्य च शब्दादीन् विषयान् त्यक्त्वा रागद्वेषौ व्युदस्य च विविक्तसेवी लध्वाशी यतवाक्काय मानसः ध्यानयोगपरो नित्यं वैराग्यं समुपाश्रितः अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहं विमुच्य निर्ममः शान्तो ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते ब्रह्मभूतः प्रसन्नात्मा न शोचति न काङ्क्षति समः सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते परां भक्त्या मामभिजानाति यावान्यश्चास्मि तत्त्वतः ततो मां तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तदनन्तरं सर्वकर्माण्यपि सदा कुर्वाणो मद्व्यपाश्रयः मत्प्रसादादवाप्नोति शाश्वतं पदमव्ययम् चेतसा सर्वकर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः बुद्धियोगमुपाश्रित्य मच्चित्तः सततं भव मच्चित्तः सर्वदुर्गाणि मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यति अथ चेत्त्वम् अहङ्कारान् न श्रोष्यसि विनङ्क्ष्यसि यदहङ्कारमाश्रित्य न योत्स्य इति मन्यसे मिथ्यैष व्यवसायस्ते प्रकृतिस्त्वां नियोक्ष्यति स्वभावजेन कौन्तेय निबद्ध स्वेन कर्मणा कर्तुं नेच्छसि यन्मोहात् करिष्यस्य वशोऽपि तत् ॐ तत्सत् सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु Today is Sarlaji's birthday, as it is written. We all can sing the birthday song for her, or when she comes, Mangala Shubhashaya. We will have best wishes for her best spiritual life of freedom and joy and happiness, always, every moment. सागर में एक लहर उठी तेरे नाम की तुझे मुबारक खुशियाँ आत्मज्ञान की तुझको है अनंत में जाकर मिल जाना तू है सुंदर फूल हमारे परिवार की तू है सुंदर फूल हमारे परिवार की हैप्पी बर्थडे सरला जी she has gone to temple, so yeah, everybody has wished her. We were doing yesterday verse 46 we completed, and it was, I will just we have to do manana for that, and there was a question from Sarlaji since she's not there. If we have any question we can have, or maybe we can have the manana of the verse. I will quickly read the verse and its tatparyam. यतः प्रवृत्तिर्भूतानां येन सर्वमिदं ततं स्वकर्मणा तमभ्यर्च्य सिद्धिं विन्दति मानवः through one's duty, worshipping him from whom is the creation of the beings, by whom all this is pervaded, a human being gains success. So, the Nimitta Karana and the Upadana Karana both are Bhagwan only, and the whole creation, the one who sees him in and through the creation, he gets the success. And when whatever duty one has to do, when one does it with prasad buddhi and ishwararpana buddhi, when he offers whatever he does, maybe his day-to-day jobs or maybe his professional jobs. When you do with Lord's offering, it becomes the success. He gets the siddhi. It becomes the abhyarchana. It is not like archana, like offering flowers, and that is archana. But abhyarchana, when you consider Lord in all whatever you do with joy. So that becomes the abhyarchana then. And you get the success by doing your own job with joy and contentment. Whatever situation you are in, whatever job you are doing, whoever is around you, it is the right thing and you are at the right place. And you are joy, you are happiness. With that clarity in mind, you do the job with lot of happiness and contentment. Yeah. Brahmaraji, kindly guide how we should proceed. Should we go to the next verse or we can do the Manana? Anyone has anything to share?
I think we can do the last two or three
That
paragraphs.
Hiranyagarbha,
That will be good.
the last one. Yeah. What is the Siddhi mentioned here from there? I will quickly browse through all the topics. They are very, very important. And if there is any doubt, then we can have the Manana and we can go ahead. So the Swamiji began with doing work is worship, worshipping the Lord through one's own duty. Man gains success. So there is no two. Okay, the way Ishvara is Anadi, same way, even Jiva is Anadi, but since due to ignorance, we have that Adhyasa Vritti, and that's why we believe as if it is taking birth again and again. Then the two causes of creation, Upadana Karana and Nimitta Karana. They are the two causes. So from Lord is both the efficient and material cause. We have to remember that spider example, that like not the potter, the clay is different. Here it is from Ishvara himself is the material. To which cause does the devotee relate? So Ishvara is Sarvagnya, Sarvashaktiman, and Sarvavyapi in the same way. Even we have to consider that both are the causes for Ishvara. How does the devotee invoke the Lord? That is through the Abhyarchana. Not only the creation, but also the laws are non-separate from the Lord. The laws themselves are Ishvara. The laws of Dharma are also expressions of the Lord. So dharma is Ishvara. Doing one's duty is worship to the Lord. By doing the swakarma as abhyarchana, it becomes the offering to the Ishvara without any raga dvesha. And the last paragraph is, what is the siddhi mentioned here? Once your likes and dislikes are non-binding, you have antakarana shuddhi and can therefore gain the knowledge that completely frees you from karma. If a person has the understanding that the performing of his duties is worshipping of Ishvara, he gains success. Siddhim vindati manavaha. First, in terms of antakarana shuddhi, and finally, he gains the shuddhi, that is moksha, which is knowledge, jnana. The important thing that is being conveyed here is that doing one's duty with a proper attitude is worship of Ishvara. Generally, worship is considered to be specific action, physical, oral, or mental. That restricted concept is negated here. These special karmas of ritual and prayer are considered worship because in them there is an obvious connection between Ishvara and the individual. The problem is that one thinks that afterwards there is no connection, which is not true. Ishvara is not only the cause but also the effect. The whole creation is Ishvara. When that is so, when are you going to be away from that Ishvara? Therefore, according to this Shastra, if you do any karma that is in conformity with Dharma, which itself is not separable from Ishvara, and you are connected to Ishvara. This makes you a karma yogi, but only if you recognize Dharma as Ishvara. An atheist can be an ethical person, but not necessarily a yogi, because being a karma yogi means recognizing Ishvara. There is no other type of karma yoga. There can be a purely secular ethical person. We see many people who have no religious belief but are above all blemish in their conduct. Then again, a religious person can be ethical but not a yogi if his karma is not performed for antakarana shuddhi, or if he does not recognize dharma is Ishvara. He can only be a clean person who is free from conflicts. He is not a yogi. Therefore, it is clear that to be a karma yogi, one must necessarily recognize dharma as Ishvara as it is presented here. Yatah pravritti.
Jai
I'm
Gurudev,
sorry.
I just wanted to, just share the fact here that yesterday there was a question of karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and jnana yoga that I think Percy ji had brought up towards the end. Being a karma yogi, karma yoga and bhakti yoga are not different. They're actually intertwined. Because a karma yogi is one who recognizes Ishvara as the karma phala data. So that bhakti is actually ingrained in karma yoga. So there are no two paths. They both they actually coincide. They are and ultimately for siddhi, for moksha, the penultimate, the ultimate step is jnana. So whether it is karma yoga you're following or jnana yoga, It ultimately is jnana which will relieve. The concern with the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, they talk of only samadhi. So, uh, to have a direct correlation between Advaita and what Patanjali is talking about may not work out all the time, because we've learned this when we have Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is not that's not the goal of the should I say of sadhana, sadhaka, because if you remember, Swamiji had mentioned, when you're in that samadhi state, there is some disturbance that comes, then you may come out of samadhi. So samadhi, of course, is that state of stillness which we all strive for when we meditate. But is that the goal? Is that the ultimate goal? Even beyond that is where you you recognize that you're nothing but, there is no other, and you're in that state of realization,
bliss.
Patanjali
where you
Yoga
don't
Sutra
come down.
also says, Patanjali Yoga Sutra goes beyond Samadhi. There is a chapter on Vibhuti, and the last chapter is Kaivalya, where you attain that liberation.
Yes.
Right. So we should not just stop at the samadhi state. So all these, of course, get us to that samadhi.
And these karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and jnana yoga are all intertwined,
They are, of course, intertwined.
Intertwined.
Yeah.
So we cannot separate it. We have to start with karma yoga because we are sansaris. We have to do karma. Okay. So with that, we have to proceed and reach the goal ultimately.
So
Through
being
bhakti,
a karma,
through jnana.
Being a karma yogi automatically
we cannot
makes...
say that this is karma, this is bhakti, this is jnana.
Correct.
It culminates into jnana and bhakti together.
That is true. That's only for our understanding. It's not, of course, when you classify yoga textbooks and all will have, there are 3 paths to realization: jnana, karma, and bhakti. But that may be at one level, it's okay for us to understand that. But at another level, we should understand that there is no clear demarcation, distinction. They're actually, they merge together. This is something that I thought I will just, share this part here. We can go ahead. Sorry for the interruption, but I thought it was important for us to have this understanding.
Yeah, very beautiful explanation, Pramadaji. Very important.
Because otherwise, like what was read earlier, when you identify Ishvara as the Nimitta Karana, and you're there in your puja, with your puja room, and you're praying, that is when you recognize him as Ishvara. After you come out of your puja room, that is it. You don't recognize, but that's not it. As a karma yogi, you recognize Ishvara in every aspect of creation. Dharma, karma, everything that you do. So that bhakti actually, it's not just in the puja room or just at the time when you're sitting in front of the idol. During that, yes, you have. But even after that, whatever you do, you have him as, you have that connect with him. That connection doesn't get lost. Yeah. That is the karma yogi.
Samipyam and Sayujyam. Yeah. Very
So that
beautiful.
bhakti, unless that bhakti is there, that is why Swamiji keeps saying, now, initially it didn't really, I couldn't really understand why does a karma yogi require to recognize Ishvara as the karma phaladata. But now it is clearer now that unless you recognize him, how are you going to see that connect? And for a karma yogi, there is still that little Dvaita Bhavana is there. Ishvara and me, Ishvara and me. That little Dvaita Bhavana is there, which ultimately gets dissolved in the wake of jnana.
Yeah, in Prahlada Bhakti also, it is at the end, I mean, he was doing Archana before, but then it becomes Abhyarchana, all mental puja. It is so beautifully explained by Gurudev. It is very, very nice. All the Archana, they become mental. And he feels that oneness with the whole creation. Yeah. Anyone wants to share?
I have written in the chat.
Yeah. Aham Brahmasmi, divine is always within us, whether in prayer room or outside, whether in prayer room or at work. Yeah, so beautiful.
Very true. So when we actually translate this, then no work is a burden. Your work itself is worship. So you will not, you're working out of joy, not for joy, which is a true karma yogi.
And for that, all these preparations are required. Sadhana, our yoga and sadhana, and they all will help satsang.
So it's ultimately a shift in our mental attitude. Again, but like we learned all the different 3 types of dhriti, different types of sukha. So gradually we move from tamas to rajas to sattvic. When we have the sattvic dhriti, then that is you're cleansing your antakarna.
Yeah, and joy also becomes sattvic.
Joy becomes sattvic. Initially, it might seem, oh, I have to do such a lot. Everybody else is enjoying. Why am I the one doing it? It might happen that way, but in the beginning, it might seem like poison, but towards the end is amrita. So this disciplining the mind, changing the attitude in the mind, little by little has to happen. And ultimately, we become 100% karma yogis. Then we have the stage made ready for that jnana to dawn. So for us as sadhaks right now, when we can just this one shloka, I think if we can completely implement in our lives, day to day, whatever we are doing, that itself becomes a big step for us towards being karma yogis. We're talking of being karma yogis, but how much of a karma yogi are we? Is a thing for us to reflect. Are we spontaneous in our responses? Are we doing that right thing at the right time? Intuitively. Not with that film of raga dvesha coming in between and clouding our thinking. So when that raga dvesha is removed, then you're so in sync with you're in alignment with what the universe wants you to do.
But
then there is no conflict, no confusion.
We should not think that we are doing. That is the main crux of the Vedanta. No, we are not doing. We have to become. See, that is a starting point. Doing, but
correct.
We have to come to being.
That is
So,
true. See, that the being will
so
happen
we
when...
should not think that we are doing. Then this spontaneous things happen. You know, we should not think that I am doing it. That itself becomes duality. That Advaita Bhavana will not at all come. You know,
Which is true, correct. But
the
in the
Jnana
transactional
Yoga
world,
is Advaita Bhavana. So we have to be in that Jnana. So we have to come to that. So, okay, these are the beginning. But ultimately, we are not doing. It
which
happens. And we are the Sakshi Bhava. So that bhavana and everything, whatever comes and whatever goes, is just Ishvara Prasada. This has to be ingrained in you. Until that, we will not come near to the jnana.
which is true. But this non-doership is, it's not complete in a karma yogi, isn't it? If you look at it subtly, he is doing the action and he is taking in every result as Ishvara's prasada. So there is that little subtle Dvaita there with Ishvara giving the result and he's taking it. So complete Advaita doesn't happen unless that knowledge.
But at least we should be in that knowledge.
Correct.
If you
Completely agree with
if you
you.
see your life, you contemplate on your life from the beginning, you will find that things have happened. You have not done it. Really, I tell you, so many times I felt like that. I have not done it. It has come to me. That bhavana has to come. Otherwise, we'll be only doing it. You know, this knowledge has to come to us. You contemplate on your life, full life. What happened? It just happened.
But there is the element of free will. It's correct, everything is happening, no doubt. But
no, we have to come to that level. I mean, you do the karma yoga, everything. That is what. Those are the steps to follow. But you have to contemplate. You have to see in your life what has happened. And is that whatever you did happened or it just happened? You have to think in that.
Even free will is Bhagavan's, no? Ultimately, Krishna tells Arjuna, you can do what you want, but you will do what I want.
It will happen what he wants. When Guruji says, no, you had no choice to do that. You had to do that. There was no other choice. You were forced to do that. No, I chose this branch and all that. It just happens. Things
so
fall
then,
in.
see, I'll tell you, in that case, there is no need for any sadhana. If everything is
No.
Bhagwan free will. Here,
See, not that way.
you will have to...
Not that way. See, again, we are going to the extremes. See, you have to do karma yoga, but you have to come, ultimately it will come to that. That is what I meant.
We are talking here of the initial steps, no? We are not talking of the ultimate, correct? What you're saying is right. Ultimately, like in that
in 18th chapter, ultimately he says, whatever I want to do, it will happen. I have given all the choice. You think over and do whatever you want, but be sure that ultimately you have to come to me.
He
that
says,
is
Yatechasi tata kuru, and he leaves it there. He says, he doesn't say what I want will happen.
No,
He
no,
says,
no, no.
He says, yet I've taught you everything now. Yathechasi tata kuru. What you now wish to do, go ahead and do. So,
but
but
later on, what
I'm
he
saying,
says, you just follow me. Ultimately, that is until that, all this Gita will happen. You are doing it. Then think you are not doing it. Whatever, just follow me. Surrender to me. That is the last one.
That is true. That is what he says, surrender to me. But he says, we're not talking of the ultimate. Ultimate, what you're saying is perfectly right. What we're talking of is of a sadhak who is still rattled by his raga dveshas, who's still rattled by the swabhava, the tamas, rajas is still there. He's not completely sattvic.
Until you think that you are sadhak and you are not reaching that, jnana will not at all come. You have to think that, okay, you are a sadhak, you are doing, how long you will be doing it? You have to come to that jnana. You surrender, whatever happens, you do everything. That all these are required. All the qualities, avayam, ahansa, that, you have to follow it. But ultimately, we have to think that we are not the doer. Okay? And ultimately, you are the creator. This whole Jagat is, you are the creator. Because when you get up, you see this. If you don't get up, you will not see it. The whole world is what you think, what you perceive. You know? So ultimately, you are Tattvam Asi. You are the creator. And when you know that you are the creator, you create a good thing. So for that, all this is needed. It's really, we have to go through it. We have to go through it. We have to reach. But we have to know that we are sadhak. But until what time we will be sadhak? You have to go through this. You have to have the daily sadhana. You have to do the meditation. That samadhi is more important. Means that samadhi, that intellect in a balanced way, that has to come. And you have to be within yourself. You are Tattvamasi, has to come to you. That is what is jnana. Oh, again, so it is far, we have to do this. No. Otherwise, you will be just go on reading. You will not be being. You are only doing. You have to follow it. I have been, I think, at the top of it, but okay. We should not think that still I am a sadhak, still I am a sadhak. How long you will be sadhak? You have to come to the truth. Jai Gurudev.
But I think, Hariom, I think we'll be sadhak our whole life. I feel so. You can't achieve that that stage in this life because it is
You
so
can
much.
achieve within a minute. That is what Guruji says, that is what
You're
he
right
does.
in a way, but then again, there's a but there.
Don't think that you cannot. You can. You have to have that mindset.
Yeah. So for having that mindset, you need some efforts and some discipline. So everything
doesn't it indicate to
Yeah,
being a
I don't mean that you don't follow discipline. You have to follow everything.
Yeah,
But
so what is
is
like being in that discipline and that shama, dama, all qualities.
everything. It will come automatic.
So basically, you are being a sadhak, no? You are
Yeah, see,
on the
that
path.
what state Sureshji is talking about is the state of the Vidvat Sannyasa, where Pashyan, Shrinvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan. So for him, in that enlightened state, things are just happening. He is not the one doing.
Yeah.
But have we reached that state? Maybe Sureshji has. I'm not sure. But for me,
No, we-
where I am, I am still a sadhak where I still have to chisel out. I still have to clean up my antakarna.
Jai Gurudev, I am
So-
still a sadhak. I am not telling that I have reached. And if I tell that I have reached it, I am not that nanny.
So what I'm saying is, we're all work in progress. I mean, I am work in progress. So for me, at what level I am, I would have to include this. This free will comes in when you have a choice, isn't it? But when you are living a choiceless life, that is you're so in tune with dharma. You're so in tune with what Ishvara's mandate is. Like, if he were there, this is what he would do. Then you are in tune. Then your free will is becomes Ishvara's will. But till then, as long as you have raga dveshas and you are your choices of action, your choices of what you want, what you're doing, what you're thinking is influenced by raga dveshas, you will have to exercise that dhriti. Chisel out your dhriti from tamas, rajas to make it more and more sattvic. And for that effort is required. That prayatna is required. And for prayatna, you cannot say it's just happening. You have to direct that prayatna. Isn't it? And that element of doership, which is why I'm saying that little subtle doership is there, because you cannot negate it.
No, it will be there.
Who do you
It
want
will
to do?
be until
You
the
want
end.
to do, yeah.
But
It will
you have to
finally it just gets diluted more and more.
dilute it,
It gets
and
diluted.
you have to investigate yourself.
Which is true.
See,
that will finally happen. That will of course
see what
finally
happened.
happen.
I might have told earlier also, within 15 days, I was out of India. I had not planned, I had not applied, I had not done anything, I had no passport.
I think that's all to do with more with prarabdha, right? See,
Prarabdha,
things happen, yes.
So,
But you cannot say that is.
But I didn't do. My student applied for me. I got the interview call. I went there for interview call. I
That's
did not.
okay. We are not talking of worldly matters. We're not talking
what is
of
that I'm
pravritti,
talking
right?
is, what I am talking is, everything, it falls when you are in this sadhana. In sadhana, it falls.
I think whether you're in sadhana or not, what has to happen to you will happen. Good or bad. Based on your prarabdha karma.
You know the route. If you take a correct route, it will reach very fast. That is what we are doing it. All these whatever qualities needed for sadhak and all that, if you follow that, ultimately you will reach the goal very fast. And what we are doing is, we have a guru. He has given us the direction. We just have to follow it. And this all knowledge, we have to imbibe it. Thank you. Sorry.
No, this discussion is good because we need to have clarity in our mind, which is why the Manana is happening. So, becoming more of a complete karma yogi. We talking of being a karma yogi and actually implementing it, manasa, vacha, karmana, at all the three levels is a different thing altogether. which is
So what Belaji was asking yesterday about the free will. So it is that the free will is for us to some extent only. Not, we cannot say that it is only like you have that free will. You have free will to choose between the positive and negative, or the choices in the life according to your nature. You have that free will. But does it apply always? Like we were reading, no? Velaji was asking yesterday. There's always a confusion when this free will comes. So is it that to some extent we have?
Yeah. See, my understanding of this free will is it is required when you're still under the hold of raga dveshas. That is where you have to use your viveka and vichara and take the right decision. That is where your free will comes, your prayatna comes in there. But as you keep diluting the hold of raga dveshas, you will be in sync with the universe. You will do what is required at that time, the appropriate thing. The appropriate action will happen from you. You cannot then, and that is when you're in complete sync. Then yes, the free will of Ishvara and your so-called free will merge. I may be wrong in my understanding, but this is what I think.
Yeah, I think I am thinking the same. So when we talk about, like, we have, being humans, we have free will. So it is only up to till we are evolved, right?
Correct. Because otherwise, see, what Gurudev says with respect to intuition, just coming back to getting the right thought at the right time, when you're in sync with the universe, you're functioning not from your intellect, you're not functioning from your mind, you're functioning from that deep intuitive space. You'll get the right thought at the right time.
Yeah, this happens.
That happens. And then when you're for of course, for young children less than 18, we have the prajna yoga. But for adults, when people asked, he said sahaj samadhi is your intuition process. So the more we do, the more we meditate, the more we are in sync with that, with our intuition, to get the right thought at the right time. Which is why I think we'll read further. The last few paragraphs talk about free will, about doing the appropriate action, being, any action, and being choiceless. To get that choice, to get to that choiceless state, we will have to cleanse raga dveshas first. That is paramount. Otherwise, with this filter of raga dveshas, that is what you will do. You will do what you like, and you will avoid doing what you don't like. And that action can never be appropriate, because it has this should I say, mala of raga dvesha there. And those are all impressions, of vasanas that we have accrued through whatever lifetimes we've gone through. So with this knowledge, with this viveka, we use that and appropriately do. That is swakarmana tamabhyarcha. At that point, at that given time, circumstance, what is to be done, I would do. We should all pray for that. I mean, I would at least, my prayer would be, guide me to do the right thing at the right time.
That is what is Gayatri Mantra.
Correct. Very right. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. So maybe we'll read further for us to get a better understanding of the gist of what Swamiji is explaining here.
Yeah, okay. There
And
can be,
are you able to take over at 6 o'clock? Just let me know.
I can continue Brahmaraji today.
You can? Okay, great. Then you please continue. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Dhanyavad, dhanyavad. There can be a purely secular ethical person. We see many people who have no religious belief but are above all blemish in their conduct. Then again, a religious person can be ethical but not a yogi. If his karma is not performed for antahkarana shuddhi, or if he does not recognize dharma is Ishvara, he can only be a clean person who is free from conflicts. He is not a yogi. Therefore, it is clear that to be a karma yogi, one must necessarily recognize dharma as Ishvara, as it is presented here. यतः प्रवृत्तिर्भूतानां येन सर्वमिदं ततं स्वकर्मणा तमाभ्यर्च्य सिद्धिं विन्दति मानवः. From whom is the creation of all beings, by whom all this is pervaded. By worshipping him through one's own duty, one gains success. I think this is the gist of the whole verse. In order to worship that Ishvara, you do not need to do a particular karma, even though a particular karma brings about a conversion of an occasional devotee into an abiding devotee. But this special karma alone is not worship. Every time you conform to dharma, recognizing dharma as Ishvara, that is worship. There is worship. Performing this worship, a person gains success, siddhi, in terms of antahkarana shuddhi, and therefore qualification for the knowledge of Atma, which is the success or fulfillment of a human life. In the context of the description of the duties of the Varnas, these are the karmas that are to be done. But all the prescribed duties of the four Varnas have to be performed with the right attitude. Without that, the performing of duty does not become yoga. It only leads to heaven, swarga. Therefore, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat स्वभावनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. Vigunaha, devoid of merit. Swadharmaha, one's own duty. Swanushchitat, well done. Paradharmat, duty of another person. Shreyan is better. Swabhava niyatam karma, action enjoined according to one's nature. Kurvan, doing. Na apnoti, one does not gain. Kilbisham, fault. Vigunaha swadharmaha swanushthitat paradharmat shreyan swabhavaniyatam karma kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. One's own duty, devoid of merit, is better than the duty of another. Well done. Doing action enjoined according to one's nature, one does not incur fault. I repeat, one's own duty, devoid of merit, is better than the duty of another. Well done. Doing action enjoined according to one's nature, one does not incur fault. Doing one's own duty is better than the duty of another. If you understand duty in terms of a universal order, then Gita has a scriptural value. Otherwise, Gita would only be applicable to a particular group of people at a particular time and place and lose its status of being a scripture. In order to be considered a scripture, a text must have a universal message. The context can be cultural or topical, but its spirit must definitely be universal because a scripture has to address not one group of people but all human beings throughout the history of humanity. The Gita here says Manava, a human being, not Vaidika, a Vedic person, because it is talking about facts which do not change as the time changes or the society differs. If I, Swamiji, speak, keeping the human being in view, and the people in front of me happen to be Indian or a Chinese, naturally that will condition the character of my talk, but not the content. In addressing the Chinese, I may say certain things that are relevant in China. There are topical issues at any given time and place in history which are pertinent to the people being addressed, and they will naturally form part of the discourse. The Bible, for instance, is a scripture because even when it is clearly addressing the fisherman, it keeps people in general in view. In addressing the problems of the fishermen in the context familiar to them, it addresses the wider human problems. That is what makes it a scripture. Even though the form in which it is received can vary, the content of a scriptural message does not change in different situations and at different times. Here, the context Varnashrama is taken into account. One's own duty, Swadharma, is determined by the societal group into which one is born, Varna, and the particular stage of life, Ashrama, that one is at. Whether one is a student, brahmachari, or a married person, grihastha, or preparing for renunciation, vanaprastha, or a renunciate, sannyasi, or a brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, or shudra, determines exactly what the duty of a given person will be at a given time. That is swadharma. The whole system is visualized for the purpose of one's inner growth, and it has prominence in the Gita because Gita is nothing but a Smriti Grantha which visualizes the end, moksha, in keeping with what is said in the Shruti, not as a thing to be accomplished later, but as something which is the very nature, swarupa of oneself. Keeping that end in view, the Veda must present a way of life that will help to accomplish it. The Veda says all this for one's growth alone. If I talk about moksha to a person who is interested only in arthas and kamas, securities and pleasures, and not ready for moksha, he will sympathize with me, thinking I have missed out on life. So you have to be ready and understand that the Veda says that even though you go for security, artha and pleasure, kama, you should not give up dharma. In adhering to dharma, you will learn to yield a lot because likes and dislikes, raga and dveshas have to be thrown into the background and when duties have to be done. What is prohibited, nishiddha karma, has to be avoided, and what is enjoined, vihita karma, has to be done. One may even do kamya karma, but not at the cost of dharma. This is the first lap of a human journey. Next, the Veda and the Gita tell us that this is all useless. Yatha iha karma chito lokaha kshiyate tatha amutra punyachito lokaha kshiyate. Brahmaraji, I
I think
think
it's
I'm not.
Amutra, right?
Amutra.
Amutra, wait.
Huh.
Yatha iha karmachito lokaha kshiyate tatha amutra. I'm not sure that should be amutra. Amutra punyachito lokaha kshiyate.
Kshiyate. Yatha iha karma chito. Even though a person may have been performing rituals for limited ends, he would have been repeating the Upanishad mantras, which would give him some vague knowledge of moksha and also Ishvara's grace. That will bless him with viveka, discrimination, after which the inquiry really starts.
Even in our regular puja sankalpa, dharma, artha, kama, moksha is mentioned there. So this is exactly what Swamiji is talking here. Even if he's doing it for the artha and kama, number one, you should not leave dharma. It should be dharmic. Then the hold of ragadveshas will come down. And then as you're doing it, you're chanting and repeating the mantras. There will be some point, some time when that shift happens. And he would start inquiring, what is this moksha? What is this? What is my purpose? Am I here only to eat, sleep? That little inquiry would happen. And then when that happens, that's the grace. That is the adrishta phala of doing all of this. So at some point, that transformation happens and he moves towards the moksha marg. That will bless him with viveka, discrimination, after which the inquiry really starts. We've had several discussions about what about people who are not into these scriptures, not into Bhagavad Gita and all. As they keep doing it, there will come some point. Like it happened to all of us. We were not born with Bhagavad Gita in our hands. Bhagavad Gita happened. So similarly, that is the adrishta phala. But then the bottom line is, we continue to follow dharma. So you can do kamya karma also. You can have binding desires, but not at the cost of dharma. Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita is like a manual for our life which guides us throughout. Whatever time it may be, it remains the same. Inquiry into the ultimate human end. If anyone wants me to repeat anything, please let me know or share it. What is the inquiry? The fundamental inquiry is into what exactly one wants in life. Prushartha Vichara. Even if a person discerns that he wants liberation, moksha, we have to look into what he means by liberation. For some, it amounts to a desire to go to a heaven. It may not even be a well thought. It may not even be a well thought out positive desire for heaven as the end in life, but more a fear of going to hell as it is presented to him. Even that has to be inquired into. What is this hell they are talking about? Even though it is a belief, it has to be reasonable. Hell means painful experience, as heaven means pleasant experience. Both are finite, and being experienced cannot possibly be eternal. This is called Purushartha Vichara. Once a person understands that he cannot do anything to gain the eternal, his way of life changes. Until now, all his energy and time have been invested in the pursuit of artha, kama, and dharma or punya. Now, everything is turned toward moksha because he has learned from analyzing his experiences and the experiences of others that no experience is going to help him. Many people do not learn even from their own experiences. This is another wonder. Even though all his predecessors have passed away, and the fellow knows very well that he is standing in the queue, still he cannot think that he is also going to pass away. This is the greatest wonder. This is the power of Maya. When a person sees through all that naturally, whatever time he has is going to be invested in moksha. I repeat this last line, very powerful line. When a person sees through all that naturally, whatever time he has is going to be invested in moksha. He has not sacrificed anything. He has just stopped what is not useful to him. What you do not have value for is not given up by you. You can talk about giving up if you give up something for which you have a value. But what can you say about parting with your garbage? If you have a value for moksha, what do you give up? Nothing. Should we do Manana or? So the ultimate thing is the vichara. Whether it is heaven or hell, both are impermanent.
Could you
So
please
all
read
yeah,
again?
yeah.
Thank you.
Inquiry into the ultimate human end. What is the inquiry? The fundamental inquiry is into what exactly one wants in life, Purushartha Vichara. Even if a person discerns that he wants liberation, moksha, we have to look into what he means by liberation. For some, it amounts to a desire to go to heaven. It may not even be a well thought out positive desire for heaven as the end in life, but more a fear of going to hell as it is presented to him. Even that has to be inquired into. What is this hell they are talking about? Even though it is a belief, it has to be reasonable. Hell means painful experience, as heaven means pleasant experience. Both are finite, and being experienced cannot possibly be eternal. This is called Purushartha Vichara. Once a person understands that he cannot do anything to gain the eternal, his way of life changes. Until now, all his energy and time have been invested in the pursuit of artha, kama, and dharma or punya. Now everything is turned toward moksha because he has learned from analyzing his experiences and the experiences of others that no experience is going to help him. Many people do not learn even from their own experiences. This is another wonder. Even though all his predecessors have passed away, And the fellow knows very well that he is standing in the queue, still he cannot think that he is also going to pass away. This is the greatest wonder. This is the power of Maya. When a person sees through all that, naturally, whatever time he has is going to be invested in moksha. He has not sacrificed anything. He has just dropped what is not useful to him. What you do not have value for is not given up by you. I think there is a typo error here. What you do not have value for is given up by you, right? Can someone guide?
I
What
think
you
we
do
do
not.
that. Usually we do that. I don't need this shirt, so I will not. We don't do dana. See, what you do not have value for is not given up by you. Oh, not given up. Huh? Even that we were holding many times.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can
even
you read the following line? I think it says a positive. Maybe it's double negative here. Yeah.
yeah. Happy to hear you, Dr. Mara. I was remembering you all the time.
I know.
Okay.
I
I
missed
was
all
also
you.
remembering Dr. Mara. Yeah, like
Yeah. Welcome
I
back,
know
Dr. Mara. So happy
this
to hear
whole
your voice.
today
yeah,
only I was thinking.
I'm doing fine, and just that my son, my daughter-in-law is expecting baby, so I had to arrange, this
Wow.
ceremony that we do, like Simantam, that happened yesterday, and I wanted to post it. I was so busy with things, I didn't have a chance.
Congratulations. Very happy. Mangala Shubhashaya.
Yeah, thank you for all your wishes and blessings. I wanted to have, the baby due next in December, in September. Yeah, so that's what's happening with me. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Congratulations, Dr. Mara.
Thank you. Thank you so
Congratulations,
much,
Dr.
Baba.
Mara.
Yeah, thank
Nice
you.
to hear. Yeah.
Congratulations. You'll
Thank
find a new
you.
baby and you'll find new life. You will
Yeah,
understand many things more.
yeah, I'm praying
I've gone
to
through
Narayana. Yeah, having the mother and baby, healthy
it.
and yeah, get through
Wonderful,
this.
wonderful. Good.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know I missed a lot.
Yeah. Just
See,
repeat
the
once
next
again.
sentence says it. You can read
Yeah.
further.
Yeah. What you do not have value for is not given up by you. You can talk about giving up if you give up something for which you have a value. But what can you say about parting with your garbage? If you have a value for moksha, what do you give up? Nothing.
I think you understood now.
Yeah, we normally give up something which we do not value usually.
That is garbage.
Yeah, so here there is, I think the line what you do not have value for is not given up by you.
Even that also we don't give up. That is what it is.
Yeah, okay. Correct.
We hold it.
Correct. Very true. He is also not given up.
Yeah, basically what we won't give up is what we have value for, like say property or people, attachment, family, and all that, right? That right now in the samsara we have the value like that. That would be hard to give up. And then we, in addition to that, we are also having attachment to non-essential things also, and that's probably what this one means, I think. Maybe Dr. Brahmara can give better explanation, but that is more double negative, right? Like not have value for and what you have value for. Both, you don't have to give up anything, just focus on moksha. Like that it says, I think.
You can't, I honestly didn't get the full import of what Swamiji is mentioning here. Maybe we'll have to reread this again. Only you can give up only that which you have value for. Garbage, you don't have any value. You can't say, oh, I have given up garbage. Garbage is garbage, so you just let it go. You don't have a value for it. Whereas if you have a value for moksha, what do you give up? That question is, I didn't get that last part.
Yeah, I was thinking, what is ours which we are giving up? Everything belongs to him. There is nothing to give up. Everything is him only.
Correct.
Then what you are giving up?
Yeah, that's the highest, no?
Very
The
true.
moksha is that
Highest.
among the purusharthas, the 4 purusharthas, right? Like
What we
Artha,
want to give up?
Kama,
Nothing.
yeah. So when you want to achieve moksha, value for that, what are you going to give up? Nothing.
Yeah. Because what there is only one. So what is that you'll give up? What do you own to give up? You're very right, Bilaji.
Should I read further or?
Maybe we can repeat that one paragraph that
Yeah,
you
this
read.
one paragraph you can repeat again. I know we're doing it the 3rd time, but
Yeah, no problem. If I repeat from the beginning, yeah, okay. Inquiry into the ultimate human end. What is the inquiry? The fundamental inquiry is into what exactly one wants in life. Purushartha Vichara. Even if a person discerns that he wants liberation, moksha, we have to look into what he means by liberation. For some, it amounts to a desire to go to heaven. It may not even be a well thought out positive desire for heaven as the end in life, but more a fear of going to hell as it is presented to him. Even that has to be inquired into. What is this hell they are talking about? Even though it is a belief, it has to be reasonable. Hell, hell means painful experience, as heaven means pleasant experience. Both are finite, and being experienced cannot possibly be eternal. This is called Purushartha Vichara. Once a person understands that he cannot do anything to gain the eternal, his way of life changes. Until now, all his energy and time have been invested in the pursuit of artha, kama, and dharma or punya. Now, everything is turned toward moksha because he has learned from analyzing his experiences and the experiences of others that no experience is going to help him. Many people do not learn even from their own experiences. This is another wonder. Even though all his predecessors have passed away, and the fellow knows very well that he is standing in the queue, still he cannot think that he is also going to pass away. This is the greatest wonder. This is the power of Maya. When a person sees through all that naturally, whatever time he has is going to be invested in moksha. He has not sacrificed anything. He has just dropped what is not useful to him. What you do not have value for is not given up by you. You can talk about giving up if you give up something for which you have a value. But what can you say about parting with your garbage? If you have a value for moksha, What do you give up? Nothing.
The sentence that which says, once he realizes that he cannot do anything to gain the eternal, that is important. No karma, no amount of karma can give you moksha. And all our life we've been doing this, doing that, only to gather some punya or avoid going to avoid getting into papa. But when you're on the moksha mark, you realize that nothing you do will get you to moksha.
Only knowledge
Only
provides.
knowledge. Only
Yeah.
knowledge. And once you know you have that value for moksha, it is not like you're giving up artha and artha kama there. Which is why I think earlier he said, for a person who's not on the moksha marga, he'll think, oh, you're wasting all your time. You're not enjoying life. But for a person who's on the moksha purushartha, there is nothing he has to give up because he has no value for that. It's equivalent to garbage for him. The worldly matters, that is. Following his senses, following, being in the samsaric, the pravritti thing, that becomes like garbage. So you don't give up garbage. You know that it is garbage. So when and whatever he does is towards that. Where is that? Yeah, so this is the power of Maya, where we see people passing on and we know we are in the queue, but we still think we are eternal. The body is eternal. Whereas when a person sees through all that naturally, whatever time he has is going to be invested in moksha. There are some of these sentences that we need to kind of underline here. Whatever time we have, it is not just this 1 hour, 1.5 hours that we spend doing this. Whatever time we have is going to be invested. And that again, when you link it with the previous shloka, the swakarmana tam abhyarcha, that becomes meaningful.
This Bhajagovintam comes to my mind, the first paragraph itself, the verse, how he explains it. Why are you wasting time doing the grammar part?
Really, I mean, I feel, when guys look at immortals, humans, running after this and that,
Right.
and when verses, we take all our problems to them. I mean, talking of Gurudev, how many people approach him with their little problems and what they want in life. So he, at his pedestal, he must be thinking compassionately. How sad. It's because they have so much compassion. That
They
is why
are
they still
just
listen to us,
like
but
the level of understanding about things, depending on that, people ask such things, right? I mean, even with the knowledge, we still seek some of this favors from God. Like, I kind of remember this with the Bhajagovindam as well as Mahabharata, whenever these Pandavas, they want to follow Dharma and they commit all these problems and then go to Krishna, can you solve this? Then he say, you make all the mistakes and then come to me like this to solve the problem. Like that, we put more and more wanting this, wanting that to God. But then what really you want is this moksha. See, until we realize that, we're going to be in that samsara. But very true, this paragraph, it's almost revision of the whole Gita, Bhagavad Gita, but nicely said.
Yeah, many takeaway lines in the whole paragraph itself.
yeah, I think maybe we can wind up here unless anyone wants to add or share.
And tomorrow, should we begin from here, Brahmaraji, or we can?
We can begin from there and then continue.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Anyone wants me to speak? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Please go.
if anybody wants to say or share, that's fine. Otherwise, we can close here. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev. We'll play the power of Maya.
We will play the Maya Panchakam. What did you say, Brahmaraji? I didn't hear.
Yeah, I said we'll play the power of Maya.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
निरुपमनित्यनिरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडार्यहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे बत विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावान् घटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया